So I'm Gary Collins sitting in for Brian Neiman today with C4. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. We are joined now live by the Howard County Executive Calvin Ball. He's also the president of the Maryland Association of Counties. So apparently, I hear, County Executive, that you have a big announcement.
Well, good morning, and thanks for having me on. I can't tell you how excited I am that we have announced our new Youth Engagement Programming Grants, or YEP grants, for our young people to help nonprofits ensure that we have supplemental programming for all of our youth and young people.
Howard County Executive Dr. Calvin Ball is on board with us, and as Gary Collins said, he is making this announcement about the YEP program. Also, we're going to ask you before you get off there about MACO and its agenda in Annapolis and how that is going. Why did you, County Executive, feel a need to do this, to put forward these YEP grants, and who do you see benefiting from this?
Well, I had a series of listening sessions at the beginning of this year. And across 8 countywide sessions and hundreds of comments, the top community priorities we heard were providing more resources to young people, expanding access to recreational activities, and offering more engagement opportunities throughout the county. And as we see throughout not just Howard County, Maryland, but frankly the nation, increases in violence, our youth who are traumatized from the pandemic, who have been restricted and kept indoors, I wanted to make sure that we partner with our nonprofit to make sure that our youth are seen and heard and supported.
We're speaking to Howard County Executive Dr. Calvin Ball. So I got to ask you, what makes this program different from, say, some of the other programs that may already exist in Howard County and also in the state of Maryland?
Well, actually, I'm going to allocate $500,000 and ask our nonprofits to apply throughout now till May, the end of May, 501c3s in good standings, and make sure that they actually have programs that either they expand or extend or create to tie directly to our young people, ensuring that particularly on weekends or weekday evenings when they're out of school, that there's programming to have them more active and more engaged with their peers in a safe, supportive, and nurturing way.
So, County Executive Ball, as you are partnering, I see the president of Howard County Community College, Dr. Daria Willis, is on board with this. How will this be kind of overseen? How will you, kind of maintain what's going on with these grant allocations?
Well, different nonprofits will have to apply, and most of the grants will be somewhere between $10,000 and $50,000. And we already have excitement, as you noted, from Dr. Willis, who's a transformational leader and president of our community college, Tonya Akins from our library system, and many others who are going to use this funding to extend their youth programming, to make sure that our young people, especially as we go into the spring and summer months, have a place to learn and grow and connect with their peers in a healthy way.
So we're speaking to Howard County Executive Dr. Calvin Ball. So I got to ask maybe a tough question here, if I may. So do you feel that this program will have direct impact? I know a lot of people have been calling in, texting in to us here at WBAL regarding the Columbia Mall situation. Do you think that this will have direct impact in maybe curbing some of the concern, keeping youth busy? How do you think that this will affect that situation that's happening there?
I think for generations, young people have gone to the mall to hang out, to have their first date, get their first job. And I know that the mall in Columbia, like many other malls, wants to ensure that there is a safe place for businesses to have commerce and for people to go. And I'm hoping that when we see disruption from our young people, particularly those aged 10 to 17, we can help them get through some of their trauma and learn how to interact with their peers and the public in a more healthy and positive way. And my hope is that that will not only positively impact with some concerning behavior at the mall, but throughout our community, and help a generation of young people who have gone through the pandemic begin to heal.
County Executive Ball, you just mentioned it. We talked yesterday as March the 13th represented 3 years since the basically country was locked down with the pandemic, and now we're all coming out of that. With this program, YEP program that you've started, is that also recognizing, like you said, the emotional, some of the things that happen to kids being locked down and not being around their friends? And we see that there have been a lot of issues with young people, contemplating harming themselves and things. So all this kind of play into that?
It definitely does, and that's a great question. The grant applications should focus on social and emotional learning, mental health and wellness, community partnerships. These are the kind of programs that we want. Of course, we are so blessed to be home to the safest city in America, in Columbia, and we have the best police force with fantastic leadership. And when there are people breaking the law, they're going to be dealt with appropriately. But our young people who are sometimes 13, 14 years old, just running around using foul language, a lot of times that's because they've been cooped up in their homes for 3 years during their most formative years. We want to make sure that we give them positive outlets so they can learn how to appropriately interact and grow into the adults that we know that they can be.
When it comes, Dr. Ball, to what we see in Annapolis right now, we've been talking about, we're in the second half of the legislative session. There are several priorities now, changing chambers from the Senate to the House to the Senate. Where is your agenda? Where's the Maryland Association of Counties agenda? I know we talked last time about, what's happening with the Kerwin funding and making sure that local jurisdictions, aren't hit as hard with the portion they have to provide to Kerwin. So where are you now in the legislative session process?
We are in a very good place. We continue having great conversations with the Maryland General Assembly leadership, particularly on our priorities. And, many of our priorities are, Marylanders' priorities, ensuring that as we look toward medical cannabis, that we do have appropriate sharing of resources, because it's the local governments that deal with land use. It's the local governments that deal with a lot of, like we just finished talking about, mental health challenges and, addiction. So ensuring that as we expand the use of cannabis, that there is that revenue sharing. Many of us right now are going through our budgets, and one of the top educational issues that we deal with are funding our school systems. And so ensuring that there is transparency, ensuring that we work with the General Assembly and, the Moore Miller administration to ensure that there is a blueprint for Maryland's future phase-in that is appropriate, that actually works for our teachers and our students to ensure the best teaching and learning environment, but is also affordable to our residents. And so these are just a couple of the priorities.
Finally, County Executive Calvin Ball, County Executive Howard County, when it comes to the YEP program allocation, you said it's going to run from, I guess it started March the 1st, it's going to go to May the 31st. Will there be like some announcement at the end of all the recipients in terms of what you've done with this YEP funding?
Why are you trying to step on our special announcement, C4? We're going to announce it. We're going to talk about our partners, the programs. We're going to ensure that we continue to keep youth at the center of every conversation, because they are our future. We're going to invest in our future, and you're going to hear more.
Okay, so we'll get you back on the C4 and Brian Neiman show to talk about all the beneficiaries of this, right?
I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Thanks, County Executive.
Howard County Executive Calvin Ball.